Alright, what's good with the people? It's your boy Simmons.
It's your boy Dang.
And it's Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast.
Bang, 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 bang.
Back with another installment. Don't know which number it is, so don't ask me. But crazy times we in. A lot of crazy shit going on with the whole
world going crazy.
Buying all the toilet paper, all the hand sanitizer, all the soap. Rubbing alcohol.
It took for a virus to come for people to start washing their hands and wiping their hands.
Like, it's crazy. Like it's looking like I Am Legend out here, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Resident Evil. It's the beginning of.
It's that close. It's that close to being I Am Legend. Like as y'all know,
you know, my bad. You know the crazy part about it is that I'm trying to get over being sick, and you know how you have like the last little bit of phlegm where you still cough here and there and stuff. And man, I be coughing at the wrong moment.
Man.
I'll be looking at people looking at me like, this nigga got the wrong.
Like, people be on edge, like you low key gotta hold that coughing before your vein about to bust and everything. Like you cough you low key like on like a 3 cough minimum.
Yeah.
You cough more than that.
After that, boy.
Don't let you sneeze. It's a wrap. Like it's a wrap. You're like, nah, hey. They gonna have barbecue Becky or Corona Becky out there
on the phone.
On the phone, like this black person.
CDC, we need y'all ASAP.
Yeah, but the coronavirus is out here running rapid. A lot of shit shutting down. The NBA shut down. After that, all the other organizations shut down.
Man,
because of 2
Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell.
They got hit on the Jazz, and then after that it was just a wrap.
Yeah.
So the NBA is pretty much all the leagues are suspended until further notice. And meanwhile, people out here just buying all the rubbing alcohol, making their own sanitizer and some weird shit. Like in a minute, cause I cut hair, so I was trying to go get some rubbing alcohol. Just you
put rubbing alcohol on them. What's that? You need to go get the one that smell good.
No, I got 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
I got 2 of them. When I'm on my mobile tip, I just grab the rubbing alcohol.
Okay.
The other one's at the shop. So I'm like, I need some more rubbing alcohol. Okay. You want to make sure it don't break out.
I feel sorry for your mobile customers. Because that rubbing alcohol is different from the barber alcohol, man.
So like I was trying to go.
Stain.
But shit, you rather take that than to get the distance, you know.
Yeah, the bumps. Yeah.
But so I'm more trying to get the rubbing alcohol. It wasn't there. I'm like, in a minute, niggas gonna have to start getting vodka as a substitute.
Rubbing on the nigga head.
It was running out of my shop. It smelled like an alky. It was like, hey man, I thought they had this shit.
Yeah, that's funny. Man. But with all seriousness, the situation is serious, and more so for the elderly. Than anything, they're the ones that are falling.
Elderly and people with immune systems.
With bad immune systems, they're falling victim to it. So the truth of the matter is, everything's done shut down. I play in the adult league basketball. They shut us down. All of the adult leagues have been shut down. My job, I work at the college. They shut down all of the sporting events, plays, everything shut down. We were given an email where it says any event to be held on the college campus that is 250 people or more, that is to be canceled. They also even told us that if we have to be at work around each other, not to be, we're too close, right? They said 6 feet from the person, and if you can, text them, email them, FaceTime. They try to keep everybody like
shit getting crazy.
It's crazy. Los Angeles Unified School District shut down. I believe San Diego shut down. A couple other police
UCR shut down.
They're shutting it down. So we're in some wild times. We're in some wild times. The only reason why I even got here before 6 o'clock was because it wasn't that many people on the freeway. You know what I'm saying? So anytime I don't leave the house at 5 to get over here, it's gonna be like an hour because that 10 freeway is crazy. But I was able to, get here. So
this is crazy. Like,
sanitize your hands.
That's what it really comes down to.
Y'all good hygiene.
just hygiene. Just wash your hands, sanitize, cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze.
Yeah.
Right now, eat everything that boosts your immune system. Get the immune system boosters. Your vitamins, like just do the essentials and you should be fine.
Yeah.
Don't be touching stuff like the doorknobs and all that stuff. You might want to be careful.
Yeah.
You know, just stay ready. You want to get ready.
Yeah.
And because people acting like it's the last days.
Resident Evil,
you know
bro.
what I'm saying? But I'm like,
I got my thing with me too.
You know, people about to start ransacking houses and everything.
You gonna get shot on the house.
You gonna get your head knocked
off. That part.
But I'm pretty sure. I'm not no scientist, but I'm pretty sure once the sun starts coming back out, because that's what's ultimately going to kill it kills viruses. The UV light from the sun. That's going to start to make it dwindle down, and before you know it, like shit's going to become just a thing of the past.
Yeah.
And then people with all that fucking stocked up toilet paper and rubbing alcohol, they're gonna be feeling stupid.
You saw that story about the people who made $100,000 off of the Lysol wipes?
Nah.
Yeah, it was a husband and wife, I believe. They bought like hella Lysol wipes before everybody went crazy. And when the Lysol wipes ran out, people got them at the store. They started selling them. They made about $100,000.
I'm not even mad at them. I seen a story of some college kids going around with the Purell sanitizer.
But they weren't selling the Purell. It was squirt.
Yeah, they were selling. And the school shut them down. Like, y'all hating. Like, let them be great. Let them be great. So I'm not even mad at. Like, what I'm probably gonna do is, because I'm like, right now people's in a panic.
Yeah.
They're not really, maybe, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Like, Hennessy and Patron is not at the top of their list right now. Maybe to calm their nerves, but go grab like a bunch of stock of the bottles, whatever. And then when they calm down, like, I got that.
If y'all seen my post the other day, this is what I'm talking about. When this man start going off topic, talking about he about to start selling people Hennessy. There's probably gonna be some Corona parties.
Man,
people gonna be like, we off work, we ain't in school, we throwing a Corona party,
and they all gonna get that shit too. Y'all go over there by yourself.
Basically, me.
Once this shit is over, then
But it's so real that I pretty much done canceled my plans of booking a trip to Mexico.
Yeah,
because I don't know.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Don't know.
The last thing I want to know is for them to have an outbreak and then I'm stuck there.
It's not, and on top of that, just being on a plane by itself
with the recycling air and everything.
Yeah, because ultimately that's how it got over here to the States. People flying, and people denying that they was even sick.
Yeah,
it's all types of stuff. And I heard there's a law that if they ask you like where you traveling and you say that you weren't, especially if you came from like the main place, China, Wuhan, China, whatever. If they ask you if you were traveling and you say you didn't, and then later on they found out that you did, you will be penalized like $5,000.
Look,
6 months in prison or something like that.
It was a dude today that got on JetBlue, and then it tell him that he had tested positive for the corona until he got on the plane or got to booking or in whatever. JetBlue banned him for life.
Get your bitch ass off here.
You ain't never flying with us. I don't even care when you get healthy. You are never
get your
flying
bitch ass
with us. So the truth of the matter is, man, we are living in history.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because you gotta think about it. 9/11 was more so a stir up in the United States. Y2K was probably on a more global level when people was panicking.
I remember my uncle had a Y2K shirt. Hey, old people, y'all crazy. He had the all black shirt with the Y2K in orange. And I remember I went to my grandmother's house and I'm sitting on the couch and he walks by and whatever, and my grandmother comes in the room from the living room and she said, "Is that some type of gang? Does he have a gang on his shirt?" I said, "Nah, Grandma." I said, Y2K means the year 2000 crashes.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh," he said she been asking me that for a week if this is gang related. And if you know my uncle ain't listen. He lives on Crenshaw and 30th. He can walk up the street. Ain't nobody gonna ask him where he from. that's how so far from gang related he is. They're gonna be like, oh man, leave that man alone. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But anyways, that was just a little side story.
Y2K and in 2012, they got stirred up again. But this one got really, like, the whole world just in a frenzy. Like, Italy, quarantine.
Whole world, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Shanghai looked like Resident Evil on everything I love. It looked like Resident Evil when it was just a few cars on the street, a couple people walking. And Shanghai is usually booming. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I seen this video today. I still don't know what the fuck happened. But, like, this was somewhere in China, I guess. A bunch of police or SWAT, whatever, they just...
Oh, you the one that posted it. They was beating niggas up.
Yeah, they just threw them down to the subway.
I didn't want to be stereotypical, but I was like, man, this is fake because they not doing karate. You know, because they was like, you know how in all the movies they be like that, and they be out there and they choking me. But that's a side story. Go ahead, man.
Alright, you taking my bag
I'm
right
sorry.
now.
I said that just came to my mind when I had seen it. I was like, oh,
no, but they, like, the police, like a whole swarm of police went down the subway. People, and I guess, like, something happened on the train in the subway because they wasn't messing with nobody that was on the platform. Yeah. They was trying to keep everybody on the on the train. And then, like, people that's trying to get out, they just bop them, bop, bop, bop. Yeah. Like, so it was... They held
that other dude up, but then you saw that the little virus task force was right there. Because you saw when they dropped the dude got off. He didn't even know he was about to get beat up. He got off of the train, they dropped him, and then it was like a task force ran up with their mask on, their helmets, and the backpack, and with the little vest.
Spraying them with some shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, y'all niggas just...
like I said, we're literally living in history. You know, God willing, I live long enough to have, like, grandkids, so I could be like, hey, I was there. It was crazy. Outbreak.
It's going in a minute. It's going to be like Book of Eli.
Oh,
and he's going to be scavenging. Gonna be scavenging.
Hey man,
but just for some water and everything.
Man, I hope not. But no, we live in, you know, we joking and stuff because sometimes you gotta laugh at things that are serious. I mean, but it's serious right now, and I know that there's some people who are extremely fearful, extremely fearful. And like I said, do what you got to do, but don't let the anxiety overtake you. Don't let the wild thoughts overtake you. Still live your life the way that you can, but just make sure you got some hand sanitizer. If you see somebody that look like they sick, get away from them. If somebody's coughing, get away from them. If I cough, get away from me. Just so that you can feel comfortable. Yeah. You know what I mean? He stuck with me. We in quarantine. Y'all didn't even know. We got the plastic around the whole entire house.
I started getting a headache earlier. I was like, man, what the fuck? You're like, yo, let me know.
I said, let me know before 5:30, man. It was good with you.
I'm
man.
Like, if somebody got me with the Rona, we gonna have a problem.
They at work. When we had our meeting, they said that there were no known cases in the San Bernardino.
Yeah, they haven't even hit over here.
Yeah, it hasn't come here.
I posted a meme today. You know, remember, you know that meme that was going wrong, but with Snoop Dogg up the baby boy, he rolled down the window. Yeah. But it was Kermit. Yeah. And it was like Corona looked at San Bernardino, rolled the window back like.
Yeah, no, I'm leaving them all the way alone, man. You better Corona gonna come out here and get shot.
Like, yo, like nah.
Man, no, that's funny. That's a good one, man. That's funny.
Like,
man.
We good.
Yeah. But moving forward.
So no, before
oh, okay.
Alright, I don't know if y'all seen this. Bill Clinton
oh my god
recently let out a statement about him and his situation with Monica Lewinsky back in the day. And he was saying he was under a lot of stress. And he had to relieve some anxiety. And I'm going to keep it 100. Like, I'm not even mad at the answer. I'm not even mad that, like, I get it. Mm-hmm. I get it.
That's because you ain't shit.
Look.
Just like you ain't shit.
Look. I mean, like,
bro, listen, think about it.
But you gotta think about it.
That man got a wife. Think about that.
But Hillary knees ain't working the way that there was.
See what I'm talking about?
Hillary knees ain't functioning the way they need to bounce on that thing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like Bernie Mac say, America. This is what I'm talking about, America. This is when he go left. I knew when he texted me about this topic that it was gonna be some bullshit because I know this man, right? So I'm gonna be the one that stay on topic, and I'm gonna say that was a legit look. People used to say that Bill Clinton was the first black president because he used to play the saxophone and everything. That is that's a nigga response. You're married, bro, and you said so. Basically, what you're saying is Hillary can't help me with my anxiety. I had to go get this new little young thing. See, see, this segment not going far, y'all.
Like Hillary needs wasn't functioning right.
I'll put it to you like this: if we really gonna do it, we gonna dive deep. This is what happens when you don't know, but this is what happens when you do not cater to your partner. When you don't pay attention to your partner. So he's saying he had anxiety, right? And his best way to get rid of his anxiety for whatever was going on was to knock down this little young thing. So what you're saying is the excitement of doing something I had no business doing was something that I'm attracted to, was offsetting your anxiety. Not the fact that I have a woman at home that I can go get some from.
I mean, maybe Hillary wasn't acting right. She wasn't really trying to give him.
But that's what the point that I'm saying. So he went to the next thing. And like I said, I'm not saying no names as men.
Yeah, do it like that, Monica. There you go. Almost, I'm about to go play the best saxophone note in the world after this.
Stop.
Hillary, do not do it like
that. Listen, I'm just keeping it 100.
And he had a.
Hillary.
Hillary.
But
Monica, do it like that. Drop it real low. Get nasty.
The truth.
But
the truth of the matter is I believe that's basically what he was hinting at in that And you know what? That might be the reason why Hillary was like, she took it on the chin.
Yeah, she knew she wasn't performing.
You understand? See,
she wasn't taking care of the star player.
Don't listen to this man. I'm trying to tell you.
She knew
I'm trying to stay on topic and keep
She knew
100.
she wasn't on look.
She knew she wasn't doing. If she was purposely busy, right? You have some women who feel like, if you got them upset that they're going to withhold sex from you and this, that, and the third. She might have been on that tip. Yeah. And Bill might have been like, okay, well, I'm not about to wait around for this. I got things going on. This girl is here. She's providing the need for me. She probably was talking to him, made him feel good, was listening to him talk.
And it was probably an accident, too. To my knowledge, they only did it once. Once is an accident. 2 times, that's a habit.
See,
real talk.
I knew this was going nowhere.
This
is up his avenue. He loving all of this.
Real talk though, maybe he shouldn't have did that in that circumstance. But I'm like, could you be mad at a man trying to release some anxiety?
No, but that's why I said that's the wife's her place. Mm-hmm. So if she's not paying attention to what he needs, you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. These things happen. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not married. I'm not.
Look, if you don't do it, somebody else gonna do it. Both man and woman. I'm gonna keep it 100. Like
somebody else gonna do it.
Somebody else gonna do it. So you better handle your business.
You almost got a duty to please that booty. I was just playing. See, now I'm on the page with him. But anyways, but
that drinking was a more.
No, I'm sorry. You crazy as hell. I'll be spending the night. But no, the truth of the matter is, I believe that was a man not taking responsibility.
No, he owned up to it though.
But listen, when you put it like that,
in front of he was persecuted. And what's crazy though, all jokes aside, he did what he did. And it was wrong.
It was real consequences.
But when you compare him to Trump, and the way they were trying to persecute Bill and Trump just get him, I'm like, that was nothing compared to what Trump out here doing. Trump trying to grab him by the pussy and everything.
When you're famous, you can just kiss him on the lips. It doesn't matter who they are. You just kiss them on the lips. You could grab them by the pussy.
Just,
why?
and
This nigga's
and they just let that fly.
Sexual harassment. Monica was doing what she was doing willingly.
Yeah, it was all willing, and he got some accusers as well.
Yeah.
Like he up there with Harvey Weinstein. You know,
man.
That's another story. Harvey Weinstein got 23
years.
Power to the people. But
you know what I'm saying? If you gonna take down Bill, Bill Cosby, Harvey gotta go too.
Yeah.
There ain't no double standard out here.
He gotta sit down, and
you saw that he had the walker, right?
Yeah, he tried to.
And then after he got sentenced, he magically had no more problems. They walked him out of there without the walker in handcuffs.
Like him and Bill Cosby about to dap it up. R. Kelly's gonna come through.
Hey.
They gonna have a whole little trio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They want
one person telling jokes, the other person performing songs, and the other one doing jailhouse productions.
You know,
making movies and TV shows.
You know, get the to be continue of Paid in Full.
Listen, if it's done right,
after Cameron got sent to jail.
If it's done right, I'll watch it. But anyways, let's get away from that.
Okay, so off to the, we had to do the bullshit, you know me. But to the more serious matter, unlearning.
Yeah.
Unlearning. There's a lot of things that we download from being gay high to adults. Information that we take in willingly and unwillingly.
Yeah.
It might just be your environment. At what point do you feel that you might have to reflect on what you're digesting and start to learn what's more out there and probably even unlearn some of the things that you know?
Yeah, I think that everybody, if you haven't come to a place in your life where you felt that you are unlearning something that you were taught growing up, you should take time to look in the mirror, right, and start to question and ask questions and start to really find the origin of your foundation. I know I found the origin of my foundation. I didn't grow up in the church, and I don't believe you grew up in the church either. We kind of like got into it. When did you start going to church? I didn't start going to church until I was like 11, 12.
For me, it's about to stop. That'll create a segue.
Yeah.
For me, like, I was going on and off. Like, my mom would drag us to the church, whatever. I didn't really, being young, didn't really care.
That's what I'm saying.
But consistently,
yeah.
Like, when I really started going was probably like 14, 15.
Okay, so basically we in the same boat, right? So some people are indoctrinated into church when they're born, right? They're like babies sitting in a church. Then they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the same church. We didn't grow up like that.
Yeah.
Right? So same with you off and on. I remember being on Adams in Los Angeles, going to my grandmother's church as a kid. But you didn't really understand none of it, right? So then when we moved from LA and went to the Valley, we didn't go to church no more. My grandmother didn't do none of that, right? So for years it was like, it wasn't no church.
I'm free.
You know what I'm saying? So then it was like,
kids, let's keep it 100. Kids, we didn't want to be there.
No, I swear, like to Sunday school, they send the kids to the school. I used to tell my grandma, I don't want to go in there. I don't want to do none of that. So the point that I'm making is that I grew up with a Christian background. He grew up with a Christian background, and there was things that when you get a mind of your own, you start to realize that there was things that was forced onto you. Not necessarily principle things, not and
it's not even limited to religion.
It's not limited to religion. I'm talking about just that is an example of something that you had no choice. A lot of people are in religions that they had no choice. That was something they were born into, and that's something that they believe is the end all be all, right? Other things that you can go into, and I'll speak about my personal life, and this is not a knock against my family, But mediocrity is something that you have to unlearn. For the longest time, I didn't know that mediocrity was a thought process. It wasn't. I used to always be told, as long as you get C's, as long as you pass the class, as long as you get past the class, you're good. And so that used to be my mindset. I remember I got to a point where my mind is so raggedy that I realized, like, if I get A's in all the class assignments, I ain't got to do no homework. And if I don't do none of the homework, don't do the take home final, none of that, but I get A's in all the class assignments, I'll get a C+.
Yeah.
So I wasn't doing I didn't do no homework, right? And so my teachers used to have like the parent conference, and they used to tell my mom, like, you know, Damon comes to school and he treats it like a 9 to 5. He does the work while he's here, but when he's gone, ain't no overtime. Ain't no homework coming back. You know what I mean? And I got to the point where my mom was like, well, what's his grade? Oh, well, he has a C+. He's a couple of points away from having a B. So my mom was like, no pressure as long as you don't pass. As long as you pass. Yeah. So my whole life I had like a 2.0. And then I remember once I got out of high school, life became difficult. Yeah. Because the mediocre thinking doesn't translate into the real world. You have to work. You have to put time in. You have to discipline yourself. You have to sacrifice. And I remember being about 23, 24 when I really started to think like, and the reason why I started to think, and it's going to sound repetitive, I was reading a book. 15 minutes a day, you'll be 15 minutes smarter. I read a book, and it was, I want to say it was like the book was called like A Life More Abundant, right? And a good book, I'm being repetitive. If y'all been following with us, you know I say a good book is like a mirror. It's going to show you yourself. Yeah. Your good, your bad, the ugly. And I promise you, if you keep reading and you get through the burn of having to look at your faults in your face, you're going to start to grow. So I got past that. And what I realized was that mediocrity was handed down to me, right? My mom was handed mediocrity from my grandmother. When my mother went to West LA College, Southwest College, she said for the longest time she did not know what she wanted to do. She just was taking classes, no major, just taking general ed classes, not knowing what she wanted to do. She got into the medical field, became a PA. But became a PA out of there will always be a job in the medical field. Not my passion, but there will always be a job. People will always be sick. That was the philosophy. So that is a form, even though she's successful and it makes great money, you know what I mean? That still was a form of mediocrity. I'm trying to get a job that is going to sustain me. I'm not going after something that is going to make me feel as if I've truly have met my purpose. You understand what I'm saying? But then you look at, you know, my grandmother is a nurse, was a nurse. Yeah. People are always going to be sick. Mediocrity. But she got that from somewhere. And if you think back, my grandmother is old enough to be like, what, 2 generations removed from slavery. So you're talking about people who put in your mind not to go after your dreams, but go after survival. Yeah. So you look at me, and now I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to survive.
And oftentimes, that's what it really is. We live in a state of survival, and trying to survive instead of getting to a level where we thrive. Right. And oftentimes in survival mode, you do a lot of irrational things. Yes. You might steal. You might do. You know what I'm saying? You might get into some stuff you have no business doing. Yeah. Because you're in survival mode. Yeah. And a lot of times, with all these things that we download from being in high school, whatever, and it starts to register as we get older, it's like this is not translating the way it should be. Like, why isn't it? Yeah. Because you got used and you got accustomed to living a mediocre lifestyle. So now when somebody demand more of you, you can't perform.
It's tough.
You can't perform.
It's tough because it's no difference than going to the gym, right? And so you go to the gym for a year, but you never curl more than 50 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Right? By the time the end of that year is done, that 50 pounds is going to be light to you.
Mm-hmm.
Which means you can curl maybe at the most 80 pounds.
Yeah.
Because it's strong.
Mm-hmm.
From just, now that, when that 50 pounds get like this, you're stronger. Right? So you might struggle at 80. You might even struggle at the 90 pound. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you never push yourself past that, right? So you pick up the 60, you're like, oh, that's a little bit harder than the 50. You put that 60 down, you go back to that 50.
Mm-hmm.
You never actually progress.
Yeah. And there's a lot of areas where this unlearning takes place in.
Mm-hmm.
Because, alright, if people know me. I was out here in these streets once upon a time.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna I'm not gonna name the body count I got out there, but I got a list. So I was out here. So oftentimes growing up and just in the hood period, your manhood is placed on if you can crack this girl, if you can pull this, if you can pull that, how hard you stunting.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I'm like, why? Like, what, like, why exude all this energy being trying to get this person, that person, that person? Like, it doesn't equate to anything. And in the long run, it's like, how much money is that putting into your pockets? How much is it added to your life? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does it really mean? Like, there's a lot of toxic ideologies we have to unlearn.
Mm-hmm.
Because we thinking like, oh, we have to, I gotta get out and get fresh and see what I can pull with what's that nigga? I think Mike, it was in the skit, Mike Epps was there like, where the bitches at? Where the bitches at? Like,
I forgot what it is,
yeah. So, but it's like, that mind state is like, you out here chasing the skirt.
Yeah.
And it's like, back at home, like, you barely got food there, or you barely getting by. Like, we got the mindset of trying to look rich instead of being rich. Like, there's a whole lot of things we have to unlearn coming from the hood because we want to floss. I'm like, flossing don't get you nothing.
It don't.
Trying to live up to the lifestyle of these quote unquote rappers, a lot of them broke. Like, a lot of that jewelry is rented.
Yeah.
Or fake.
Yeah.
And you trying to live up to that.
Yeah.
You got to unlearn this mindset of, like you said, number one, mediocrity.
Yeah.
And number two, feeling like you got to please the world, because a lot of times we don't do things to, like, for our self gratification. Yeah. It's to please everybody else and look cool.
And I'll get more personal with it, just because I feel like when you were talking about something, that means you've grown past it. It's not something that bothers you, right? And so you talk about the toxic thinking, right? And so what you were talking about was toxic masculinity, things that are taught to us as men, cracking as many as you can, how many females that you got. So you what you were referencing was toxic masculinity, right? And I'll put it to you like this. So you're saying, oh, crack as many as you can crack, right? Mm-hmm. Not understanding that we being taught that is actually doing damage to these women too as we're coming up, right? The toxic masculinity is actually affecting these women. But I'll go to a personal example of having to unlearn, right? When I was a child, I remember I got such a great memory. It's ridiculous, and I believe that it helps me be able to try to overcome some of the issues that I have. Yeah. I remember being a kid. My dad bought me like this electric race car. It was like a pink electric race car. We was at the park, and I was driving it, and then we went and started throwing the football. Yeah. And I was an emotional kid, so I'm still to this day. It's just your personality type don't never change. I like to be able to do things on my own. Yeah. And if I can't get it right, I feel some type of way because I don't like to ask for help. So I couldn't throw the football right, man. I started pouting, man. I started crying. And my dad was like, man, all that crying, stop all that crying. You cry like a girl. Right? And I remember from that moment on, I said, I don't want to be seen as no girl.
Yeah.
So when I got emotional, instead of crying, I would get angry. And because of that, I ended up becoming, as I got older, you get into fights. You know, somebody picking on you, you want to cry, you just punch them in the mouth.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is I became this person who was just angry all the damn time.
This nigga used to walk around school. I'm like, this nigga just
on one.
He just like I don't even think he would even be mad. He just had like what they call a resting bitch face.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's like, what's good?
Yeah,
like nigga face straight. I'm like, damn nigga, what's up?
Yeah, and the
I was just play around.
Yeah, the God's honest truth. That was never who I was as a person. That's who I thought I had to be.
Yeah.
Because of what I was told. That toxic masculinity. You don't show emotion. You don't cry. And that's something that you have to unlearn. You know what I mean? I'm not out here boo-hooing in front of people because I for sure ain't got to do that.
Yeah.
But there's been times where, in recent years I've lost loved ones, right? And at their funerals, I don't really mess with funerals. Like I'll pull up to the funeral, but I'm gonna be that person that's like all the way down the hill, like, oh, that's Dane, he down there, this, that, third. I don't want to see my people like that.
Yeah.
But in recent years, when I've lost loved ones, I purposely made myself have to reminisce about the relationships. To the point where it brings me to tears, because I understand if I don't cry, I'm going to release it in another way. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to understand, like, for me, I had to unlearn that being emotional was not an issue.
Yeah, definitely. Because a lot of times, like you said, like people, especially as black men, suck it up. Yeah. Toughen up. Or you crying like a little bitch. Yeah. Or like suck, you know what I'm saying? Like tough it out. Like we're told to tough it out. Like we don't get
take it on the chin.
Yeah, like we don't get the option. Yeah. Because if we do, like now, like even women look at men like, oh, like he too soft. Like we not allowed to express ourselves.
And that's what you're saying is God is the truth. Because I love my girl to death. Like I love her to death, but I'm not getting emotional in front of her, and I know that probably sound bad. But in the back of my head, I feel like she on like a group chat with her girls, like, oh, this nigga's over here. You know what I'm saying?
Like he just been crying for like 2 days. I don't know what to do.
I'm cool. I'm cool on that, man.
Like, I don't even know what to do. Like,
but that's pride. You know that's the pride. That's the pride of being vulnerable.
And that's the thing. We're taught that being vulnerable is a bad thing. Yeah. It's okay to cry if you need to cry. Yeah. It's okay to open up. It's okay to express it. You don't have to hold it in. You don't have to bottle it in. Yeah. So like, there's a lot of layers to unlearning and becoming a better person because even in the scope of what we learn in like, how can I say this? I can't even think how to phrase it, and it just slipped me. Like his memory good, mine ain't good.
Cup down.
But unlearning is an important thing to growth because a lot of times the information that we downloaded, oftentimes is like, oh, it might have even served us in that time. Yeah. But as we get through these different pillars of life, we have to learn more and download new information, new wisdom. Yeah, that's going to guide us to the level of where we're trying to become as the full version of us. Yeah, our ultimate version. So it's okay, like to cut off people. It's like, yo, like we was cool, we was super like tough, like back in the day, but like you're a little too toxic for me. You're not really moving in the direction where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to grow a certain way as a person. Yeah. It's okay to cut those relations. It's okay to leave things alone. Like, you don't always have to smoke and drink. Yeah. You can cut all that. Like, it don't have to be that. Like, every time you go out, you have to, like, just really turn it up. And you know what I'm saying? You don't have to always go out. Yeah. Like, the club is not the only place to have a good time. No. You know what I'm saying? But these are things like, oh, it's the weekend. I have to. why we associate I have to certain things, like that's how it's supposed to go.
With a want.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do something, you don't necessarily have to do something. And I put it to you like this: it even boils down to loyalty. My loyalty used to get me in trouble. I had to unlearn that. Me being the personality type that I am, I used to get into beefs for you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like somebody be like, "Oh man, I don't like your boy, this, that, and third," and I'll be by myself somewhere. Real talk, I used to bring drama onto myself when I was younger. I was trash. So you could be like, "Yeah, man, I don't like Sims, this, that, and the third," and then you see me.
Yeah.
And be like, "Hey, what's up with your boy? I don't like your boy." And I'll be like, "Well, I don't like you. You got beef with him. You got beef with me." But it'd be like 6 of them. And then next thing you know, it's like I'm in a situation, and you know, it got to the point where I started to realize like
why am I doing this?
I'm doing some dumb stuff. You know what I mean? Like I gotta unlearn that just because you're loyal to your people, sometimes beefs don't be really beefs. Yeah. Sometimes it really just be word of mouth. This person, he say, she say, and I'm the person taking it to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
I've done that before too.
Yeah, like, and the energy that you put out is the energy you're gonna get back. So you have to unlearn that, you know,
that ego and feeling like you have to just hold it down and stuff like. Yeah, like don't get me wrong, like you don't want to be no punk out here as far as holding your people down, but as far as inheriting like pointless dumb beef, like this hyped up stuff is like for
and
what?
I was the king of that. I was the king. I would purposely like walk through a group of them, and they'd be like, "Hey, ain't that so and so homeboy? Yeah, what's happening?" Just bringing it on to myself, you know. And the thing of the truth of the matter is, I'm blessed to still be alive. Cause I'm just
because as you said that, for some reason, like a BET movie just passed in my mind. Like at the beginning of every BET movie, like, so you wonder how I got here?
Yeah. You wonder how I got here, right? Yeah, being a dumbass. But you have to unlearn, and especially as being a black male. Yeah. We come from a very masculine, pride-driven culture. Yeah. Right? Like, the biggest thing in high school is like, shoot, I got hands. To this day, you got cats that'll be like, shoot, I got hands. You can try these hands, this, that, and the third. Yeah. Half of them can't fight. But everybody,
you have to prove
you
yourself.
gotta prove that you can fight. You gotta prove that you can be with the business. If somebody come at your clique, you gotta be ready to go. You gotta, if I get into it, this, that, and the third. And half the time you're in situations that you don't need to be in. I remember one time I was in a bar and this dude kept he was drunk and he kept bumping into us and kept talking. You know, like drunk people will pinpoint one person. I don't know what it is, but they'll pinpoint one person and they'll be like, "Hey, bro," all in your face and all that stuff, right? And the homie finished his beer and turned his beer bottle upside down. And I was like, "What's the issue?" Yeah. He was like, "Man, if he come up to me again, I'ma crack him." Yeah. And I'm like, "Oh, okay," like that. So now my wheels is turning. Like, how can we get out this situation? Because it's not even necessary, right? Yeah. But then I look over, and the group that the guy is with is literally about 10 deep. And it's 3 of us. And I was like, I don't think you should do this. You know what I'm saying? But that comes from...
In those type of situations, like, I'm going to keep it 100. Yeah. Because there's some fights that's worth, participating in. Yeah. And there's some that's not.
Yeah, that was one that was not.
Now, if you gonna go crack them over the head and they come and try to look, if it was just if someone came over here trying to beef like this, intentionally be disrespectful, that's one thing.
If you know that he's drunk,
and then you crack him over the head.
Listen,
look, you fight 10 people.
As soon as I was like, bro, it's all good. The drunk dude picked up a girl dancing on the dance floor and dropped her on her head. It wasn't a situation. But because we come from that culture where it's like when we up in this thing, we might have to tear this thing up.
Yeah, it's like, yo, you really don't have to.
You don't.
And it's like, and that be the fucked up part. Like, as far as being part of hip hop, we cannot keep a fucking situation where we can go and vibe. Like you remember the vibe in downtown Riverside with the underground upcoming artists go over there perform Common Grounds and all that shit. We can't do nothing because people.
Boogie. Remember
know what I'm saying?
Boogie
Like
Anaheim.
Like people always want to fuck up shit.
Yeah.
It's like we can't keep shit.
Yeah.
Because it's like people want to act up. It's like yo, like oh they acting up. Like some people intentionally go to clubs and parties or whatever just to see if they can get active with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like yo, like you really don't have to live that way. Like you don't.
And the crazy part about it is it's always that like I said, you have to unlearn the toxic masculinity. Mm-hmm. Because the truth of the matter is that was something that we felt that we had to prove ourselves with, mm-hmm. right? So if it's 3 of us, we like, man, we ain't no punks.
Yeah.
When nobody else is worried about you when you in there.
You know, like nobody. The cool thing about it, nobody even looking at you like a punk.
Listen, not one person is even paying attention to it. You know, the older you get, you realize that situations that happen is because somebody is looking. I tell people all the time. Yeah. Negative energy is out there.
Yeah.
The difference between negative energy and positive energy is this. If I come into the room with positive energy, it's contagious. Mm-hmm. Right? When you come across negative energy, you have the choice to accept it and regurgitate it. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So there's been times where I remember once I started getting to the point of being quote unquote woke or have a enlightenment from reading and everything. I remember I was in the club. And I was in Pomona in the club, and I'm walking, and I just got a drink from the bar. This other dude got a drink from the bar, and we bumped shoulders. But the club is packed, right? So we bumped shoulders. He was darkness. So I told him what did the 5 fingers say to the face. No, so
you remember the episodes in slow motion when he dropped the beer.
yeah. So we bump into each other. My Hennessy and Coke kind of spill a little bit. His drink kind of spill a little bit. And I'm a shoe person, but I know how to clean shoes. So I'm not like, messed up my Pumas like back in the day. Remember, it was like, you stepped on my Pumas. Everybody got to die. Yeah. It was like, oh, shit. And so I turned around. As I turned around, the dude turned around. And we both was like, my bad. Yeah. At the same time. Yeah. Kept it pushing. You know, because idiot that I was with, I turned back around. He got his hands balled up and was like, yeah, because you could get these hands. I was like, what? Wait, what? It was an accident. Yeah. We ain't about to tear the club up over an accident.
Fuck up the whole function.
We have to get away from that mentality.
Yeah, because a lot of times people, they feel like I'm going to keep it 100. Because I know a lot of niggas that bang, that come from that lifestyle, grew up around it, blah, blah, blah. A lot of times them niggas is emotional, unstably emotional.
But they're dealing with hurt.
Oh no, most
they're
definitely.
Dealing with trauma. They're dealing with all of these things.
Because I remember this was actually recently, and like when you put it into context and you really understand where he was coming from, you understand it. Jim Jones, posted something about basically like hood niggas, like niggas growing up in the streets, whatever. Like we deal with more trauma. That he's saying, like he was quote saying that they dealt with more trauma than niggas in the soldier or in the army or whatever the case may be.
I believe it's the equivalent, not more, but it's the
equivalent. He was saying something along those lines. I don't know if he said more or but and then of course like people was like what the fuck? Yeah. And I understood why people reacted that way, but I also understood where he was getting that. He probably just didn't articulate it that way. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff you see in the streets. People getting shot. Yeah. People dying right before your eyes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you live like at war, like shooting, like shootouts.
It's shootouts and all that stuff. And I'll put it to you like this. You know, I ain't never claimed to be the hardest person to ever walk the earth. I never claimed to be stumped down gangster. I just know that I was taught, and people who I was raised by, and I'm talking about people in the street who I looked up to, gave me, the games, the wrong game as a youth. You have to understand that it's a type of brainwashing because the people that I was around were Crips. And for the long time, I remember, it's a wild story. That's what I'm saying. You gotta y'all gotta unlearn. It's a brother out there that grew up gang banging and can relate to the mentality and how ignorant it is. I remember being taught at 12 or 13 that job or no job, you gotta be with the business. I was told that if I was working at a Jack in the Box and my homeboy was getting jumped in the middle of taking somebody's order, I was supposed to jump over the counter and run out there and get down. Right? He told me, if you lose a tooth, I was with him because I was all in as a kid, right? Yeah. But he told me if you lose a tooth, you don't get it fixed. It's a war wound. So you walk around snaggletooth. You understand what I'm saying?
Just out here looking ugly.
Just out here looking ugly because you all in for that situation. If somebody call you out for the fade, you turn down nothing. Win, lose, or draw. Your respect is off of your credibility of getting down. Right? Mm-hmm. So, when I moved out here with my pops, I don't know nothing. I ain't know nothing about Rialto. I didn't know nothing about no gangs out here. I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm coming from LA type gang banging mentality. Yeah. Hey, you over here with us, they over there with them. Them's the Pyrus. I done got into it with Pyru cats, this, that, and the third. When I came out here, the cats that I was hanging out with, my mind was blown because I'm sitting there and my pop's like, yeah, they football players, go hang out with them. Mm-hmm. The first day at lunch, they was like, blood, blood. Hey blood, hey blood, hey blood. And I'm sitting there like,
it's the same shit.
I ain't even supposed to be around these niggas. Right? Yeah. But then I started to look. I said they did everything that the Crips did except they said blood and they wore red. Mm-hmm. No difference. Mm-hmm. These are young brothers who are lost on both sides. Mm-hmm. Who have a small contrast that's not even a contrast. You say blood, they say Crip. You wear red, they wear blue. You get killed, you cry. They get killed, they cry. Mm-hmm. They mess up their community, you messing up your community. You're damaging yourselves emotionally, they're damaging themselves emotionally. Mm-hmm. You're giving yourself post-traumatic syndrome, they're giving themselves post-traumatic syndrome. Mm-hmm.
It's just an ever-going cycle.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, they want you to be so down, and I'm not. And I understand, like, when you grow up and you don't really have people to turn to as family, you turn to the streets.
Yes.
So I 100% understand that part. But a lot of times, when it comes down to it, when you got kids and you going, you locked up, whatever the case may be, you dead, whatever the case may be, say you die, all you get is a car wash.
Yeah.
And then your kids, like, what happens with them from that point on?
No legacy. It's like it's like Cricket Eye said in the new Royce the 5'9" album. He says, you go get locked up, your girl pregnant, she have a kid, he just another nigga that's about to be in the system. The cycle continues.
And it's just, it comes to a point where you gotta realize, like, and don't get me wrong, like, I also see the potential in that type of and looking at it from a positive aspect. Mm-hmm. Like when Killer Mike did what was that series? Cripicola? What was the series called again? Trigger. Uh-huh. Trigger or something. Wasn't it Trigger?
I don't know.
Something like that. Trigger Warning, something like that. But when he did Cripicola and actually try to show people, like, this can actually be something legit and powerful.
Yeah.
When you put it in the terms of a business and what the Black Panther actually stood for and things of that nature, it can actually be a powerful tool to help elevate people that's coming from impoverished neighborhoods. But oftentimes people keep on rolling on pride and their ego and, like, all that bullshit is just like, it don't really end nowhere. It's like a simple step on your shoe. Somebody apologized, you feel like you gotta, like, stomp them out. Now you getting gaffled up by the police, and it's like, it didn't have to be all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all in the mindset. Like, stop feeling like you have to prove yourself and feeling like your heart got to be wore on your sleeve. Like, that does not equate to longevity and being a productive citizen in this world. Because a lot of times, everybody, they have aspirations of being successful.
Yeah.
Having a lot of money.
Yeah.
With that mindset, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. The only person that's close enough to, and he walks a fine line, I'm pretty sure the link, like the way he, in hip hop, in the streets he acted, is not the same in the corporate offices. Mm-hmm. It's 50 Cent.
Yes.
He maintains his street credibility.
Yeah.
he knows when to like be like about that and when to like turn that off and be professional.
He's even said in interviews that the reason why he can get away with half of the stuff that he gets away with is that he keeps that element of being a rapper. He says if you pay attention to the headlines, he says when I do something good, he's like his executive producer of X, Y, and Z. He says then when I do bad, they say rapper 50 Cent. He said, so I keep that balance. He said, and that allows me to do certain things in the meetings because they know that I still have the leeway to act a fool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's being able to have the foresight to plan accordingly. It's like, it's all strategy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, if I do this, I know they're gonna budge that way. But if I do, you got to be mindful of your environment and what's your leverage and what's your downfall, what's your weaknesses. And work accordingly. So it just comes to a point where like you got to be smart, like, and unlearn certain things. Like Nipsey was not just doing stuff just for the fuck of it. No, like he was being wise for a purpose. 50 was being wise for a purpose.
I love a statement that Nipsey made a few years ago. He was standing in the parking lot where his clothing store was, right? And he was giving like a tour when he was like first about to open it. And he stood and he was standing there and he was right in front of Crenshaw and Slauson and he turned around and he said the goal was never to be a menace to society. He said all that stuff that we did, we felt that it was a necessity for us to do. He said, so I was a menace to this community. He said, now that I'm older, more mature, he said, my purpose is to give back to a community that I damaged. Yeah. That's unlearning. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand Nipsey read like, he ran like a bunch of books. Yeah. Number one.
Yeah.
So let's get that out to number one. Because number two, let me flip this. At some point, you have to come to a point where you know that you cannot go any further with the information you have. So you have to acquire more information. So number two, it leads to reading books, which Nipsey was like, okay, how can I prevail to a higher level? Because at this point, I got kids. Yeah. He had a daughter, and then his son came. So I got kids. So what can I do to elevate my situation for me, my kids, and my lady? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it stopped being about just this, what can I do for the turf? And don't get me wrong, like, he wanted to hold down this turf.
Yeah.
But he was also conscious, it's like, okay, I can't do certain things that's going to put me at risk and risk my kids' legacy.
Yeah, and
everything my brother worked for, and everybody that's involved in this, because everybody check is connected to me. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 100%. You know, and if you listen to his music, there was music in there that showed, like, his whole. If you, I beg you guys, whether I mean, if you're not like into rap like that, then just take what I'm saying for face value, because I'm not steering you wrong with this one. But if you go back and you listen to his Bullets Have No Names mixtapes, right? Then you start getting into the TMCs and the Crenshaw mixtapes and the extra Victory Lap mixtapes, and then you get into the actual album Victory Lap. You see his growth.
Definitely.
You see his growth as a person. When he first came out, it was strictly gangbanging, the section that I'm from, this, that, and third. But he was always conscious.
He was talking about real estate when he first come. Like, it was an interview where he was talking about real estate.
And he said it in the song that most people used to think that he was selling drugs at the time. But he said when it started to go left when he was selling drugs, and he saw that dudes that was his age was getting like 40 some years for selling. He said that he started taking some of that drug money and put it into real estate in Atlanta. So he had money, in Atlanta coming from real estate. That's a different type of mind from a young brother coming from the section that he came from. But when you look at it, he even has songs where he talked about, the Rolling 60s, one of their biggest enemies is the A-Trays, right? He had a song on early Nipsey Hussle had a song talk about how they were black men killing each other. The 8 trays in the 60s, how they needed to come together and squash the beef that they were having. So when you think about everything, the generational gang banging and the generational beef, and then you have somebody who comes along and says, listen, I as a man, I want to see you as a man do well. He started to unlearn the things that he was learning when he was in the streets. You understand what I'm saying?
You gotta think about it. Because as you said, generational gang banging.
Generational gang banging.
2 different sides.
Yeah.
The group of people that's there now is a whole different generation.
Yes.
I don't know these motherfuckers from nothing.
No.
What the fuck? Like, why do I need to go over there? Like,
I just told my coworker that, man, a couple weeks ago. I told him, I said, the neighborhood that I came from in Los Angeles, it does not look nothing the same of how I was when I was a kid. The kids, everybody that was on my block when I was a kid, 7, 8, 9, were kids I went to the elementary school with around the corner. As I got older, rest in peace to my homeboy Dwight, lived across the street, got killed in the drive-by, right? The other homies that lived down the street, they grew up, they moved out. You understand what I'm saying? The whole block is like old black people and Mexican people. You understand what I'm saying? It's not the same. So the point that I want people to understand is that neighborhoods continuously grow. The beefs that you are inheriting. So say a kid moves into a neighborhood right now. So let's just say use 60s because we talk about Nipsey. So kids or parents are going to move into that neighborhood right now. The parents are going to be non-affiliated, don't want nothing to do with the gangs. I work, I go home. That child is going to have to go to school in that community, right? That child is going to inherit generational beef. Yeah. So what you're saying is, me and you got into it back in '87 over a female. You killed me. My cousin killed you. Your cousin killed my cousin. Our side's been beefing ever since. So you say generations later, our sides is still killing each other because you took the female from me.
Or some bullshit.
Or it was a discrepancy over some money.
Yeah. And you gotta even think about it. This is the other aspect that played too.
You know,
it's some janky ass big homies.
Yes.
Trying to put their little homies in some, because they don't want to do it themselves. They don't want to get their hands dirty. Yeah. They put their little homies to the work.
Yes.
You know, it's like, yo, like,
that ain't got nothing to do with them.
You know
what
I'm saying?
But I keep it. I just gotta speak for myself. As a young man, I know my father. I know who my father is. I know I can pull up to his house right now. I ain't been there in damn near 20 years, right? But coming up, he was an absentee father. So I had a stepfather who was an in-house absentee father. You understand what I'm saying? Didn't give me any guidance. Talked to me once and it helped me, but it was not consistent, right? And what ended up happening is, as a child, as a boy, I can speak for a boy, when you don't have a father figure, someone who you feel cares about you, someone who you feel is going to pat you on the back and say what you're doing is good. Yeah. The people who are going to pat you on the back are going to be the ones who's doing wrong. Right? So it was the streets. I tell people all the time, it's either the gang banger, the pimp, or the drug dealer who is going to grab your child. They're going to be the ones that's either the drug dealer going to put some money in your kid pocket and say, hey, you like money, man, go get you some J's, go get you some candy. Ooh, you the freshest on campus. Next thing you know, he got a little runner because you're trying to make some money. Yep. Right? The pimp is going to get in that kid's ear. He going to be like, man, these bitches ain't shit. You know what you know how much money you could get up out of a bitch? They going to start to condition that mind of that child to look at women in a certain aspect, right? And so now they're going to take the damaged child. That damaged child is going to find another damaged female child. And they're going to mass manipulate these young women to do things that they want them to do, right? Then you're going to find the other child, right, who got a little bit of anger in him. This was me. Got a little bit of anger in him. Ain't afraid to fight nobody, win, lose, or draw. That gangbanger gonna say, I need him on my side. He got heart. Yeah, bring him with me. Put him underneath my wing. You understand what I'm saying? And in each one of those cases, that is a sense of validation that child is not getting from home.
Exactly.
And that validation ends up turning these people into monsters. Exactly. They didn't start off like that. They weren't born like that.
Nah, just confused.
They're confused, and their situation caused them to end up being like that. And I thank God that I was able to get to the point where, I keep saying unlearn. I got to the point where I was able to unlearn a lot of things.
Because it comes to a point to where oftentimes where we're fed information. Mm-hmm. You have to get to the point where you want to go seek information for yourself and see what's out there. And see what's on both sides of the fence. This can be in a spiritual, religious aspect. This can be morals. This can be just numerous aspects. Like, you have to go see for yourself, because it's like, if you just taking in like, oh, like, you can't go over there, them niggas is bitch, blah blah blah, they did this, that, and the third, then you go over there kicking with them, they cool as hell. Or religion aspect, like, you Christian and they're Muslim over there. Like, oh, you can't, like, they doing, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, you hearing, like, different information from both sides. You go over there, like, this person is just like me.
It's not It's not what they say.
Like, we both believe red. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you have to go and seek the information for yourself. You can't just be victim of he say, she say, because it will land you in some bullshit. Yeah. And then, like, you're stuck trying to figure out the problem at the end of it. Yeah. Excuse me. But unlearn that information that do not serve you. Like, become a student. Yeah. And don't
really challenge everything.
Yeah. Don't like hinge your identity about on. Don't. How can I say this? Don't associate your identity with what your parents want you to be, what your religion wants you to be. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, really understand who you want to be and what you want out of life. Yeah. And pursue that. Yes. Once you start to pursue that, a lot of things will start to open up, and you start
fall into place.
You know what I'm saying? You start to think for yourself and see things like, okay, this shouldn't, like, no, okay, yes, but, like, you start to connect the dots, and things start to make a little bit more sense, and, like you said, fall into place. But oftentimes people just lay waste to other people's teachings and just follow blindly.
Yeah, you start to accept other people's dogma.
Mm-hmm. Be your own person. Yeah. We could talk about this shit forever.
Like I said before we wrap up, man, challenge everything. Mm-hmm. Challenge everything. I promise you, challenge everything. I got to the point in my life where before I would talk to somebody who I believe knows more than me, I will research the topic, right? And because the information, and if information like words in a book, a blog site, a website that gives information to any topic that you're listening to, whether your National Geographics and all of these other different things, right? That's going to give you history, facts, or whatever. Yeah. Go before you go and talk to somebody that you consider knows more than you, or somebody that you look up to. Go and read this information to get this information for yourself, because the words are pure, right? The information does not change as you're talking. The information is not biased, right?
Because a lot of times people will give you information, but with the intention.
With an intention. You know? It's not pure. So what you do is you get the truth for yourself, and then you compare and you contrast once that person starts talking to you, whether if that information is solid or if that information is something that is being, kind of manipulated.
Exactly. Digest it yourself. Yeah. As we spoke about a couple podcasts ago, that USB stick. Like, you're gonna have to. Not only are you going to, the information that you download into there, you might have to delete and create some space. Yeah. Your brain only has so much capacity about it. You know what I'm saying? But you can always put more information into it. So be mindful of what information that you're downloading. Be mindful of where you're downloading it. Because sometimes, like we said, like, there's an intention behind it. People are trying to sway you to their perspective. Just download it unbiasedly. Yeah. And see where it weighs out in your life. Yeah. And give your own personal opinion. Yes. You got anything else to add?
No, that's it.
It seemed like a long ass podcast. I don't even know. Niggas have been sipping, but if there's nothing else, I guess Until the next time, it's Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast.
Bang, 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 bang.
Salute.